So welcome to our info session for school districts on the Affordable Connectivity Program. Appreciate you being here. And we're just going to go over a quick PowerPoint that gives some information about the program and, maybe how you can get information out to your families. So I'm Leslie Scott. Other people in the room here are our staff. We've got 4 American Connection Corps members who are serving through AmeriCorps' Lead for America program. And then we've got Erin Deacon, who is our managing director at Casey Digital Drive. So I'm just going to get this PowerPoint up here. Can you all see the PowerPoint? Yep. Okay, did the screen change? Okay, fantastic. We've had trouble with that in the past. So just a little bit about Casey Digital Drive, just so you understand who we are and what we do. We were founded in 2012 by Casey Moe and the UG to address digital equity issues that were revealed when Google Fiber came to town and that rollout. So as you probably both know, Wyandotte County was the very first place in the whole country to get Google Fiber. So I always love pointing that out, little old KCK. And so from the beginning, we've sought ways to bridge the digital divide and improve life in the community for all, including families and children. So that's who we are. And this is just a little bit of a model about how we work. We do a lot of community building. We gather information and put it through our solutions lab process to identify projects. And sometimes we work on those projects ourselves. Sometimes we work as a consultant, but throughout it all, we're pulling together partners to work on projects that help the community. So about this this program, again, this might be a little bit of a review for the two of you, because I think you both were at the Livable Neighborhoods meeting where I presented about this. But the ACP, or the Affordable Connectivity Program, is a $14.2 billion program that was included in the infrastructure bill. It provides a one monthly discount up to $30 for eligible households to pay for their internet service. And that's at the service provider of their choice, as long as that ISP is participating in the program. And so the ISP gets the funds directly from the federal government, and it's administered by this USAC, which is a nonprofit that is overseeing the application and processing of those applications. And it also can provide a one-time discount of up to of $100 with a copay of more than $10 but less than $50 for a laptop, desktop, or tablet. The device has to be purchased from the same ISP that a household is getting their internet service from, and unfortunately the larger ISPs are not participating in this at this time, and so it's not all that relevant. There is a local nonprofit called PCs for People, and they are offering this device discount. They are currently only offering service through hotspots, however, and that's not always ideal. So we received an outreach grant from the FCC to help get the word out about this program, and that's why we're having this session today. So there are a few ways to apply. You can print out and send in a paper application, but we've set up a website to help people get information about what they might need to apply, as well as have the link for them to be able to get to the site to apply. And there are also some service providers that have their own application portal. And these are the things that are needed. So you need an email address, because that's the way that USAC communicates with people primarily about their application. And then some sort of ID. The easiest way is to use your social security number, but there is not a citizenship requirement for this program. And so people can use other forms of ID, such as the ones listed here. These are just some more examples. And again, they don't have to be issued by the United States, just as long as they're valid and not expired. And included in this list is a school ID if someone is going to be qualifying through their child or dependent. So people who qualify, one of the programs, and the reason why we wanted to invite you all here today is because the free and reduced price school lunch program is one of the qualifying programs. And so if a household wants to use that as their qualifying program, they have to provide documentation that includes the student's or the dependent's name, the name and address of the school or the school district, and then a date that is in the current school year. And so basically, you know, it needs to be on letterhead is the bottom line. And this is a template that Education Superhighway has put together. And I just wanted to include it because it has been vetted by Education Superhighway through USAC. And so I will send this this deck out to you at the end of the webinar today. But this is a way for you to have a template that you know is going to pass muster for the application process for your families. And you know, you would just copy the content there and put it on your letterhead. So you can see there's a place for the school name and the student name. And in that way, you know, they'll be able to verify that the student goes to a school. So one thing I wanted to point out is if you're a community eligibility provision school and all your students qualify, then you could just, you know, send it out to all your families. You don't have to worry about you know, working with your nutrition services program to get that list. But you know, if you are needing to do that, then you know, both ways are an avenue for your families to qualify. So if you do, I think KCK, everyone, all your students qualify for a free and reduced price lunch, right? Yeah. But if it is a district where, or a school where everyone doesn't qualify, you can still, you know, have people qualify through other ways. So one is Lifeline, which is a kind of colloquially known as government phone. If family participates in SNAP, Medicaid, WIC, SSI, federal public housing assistance, has a veteran's pension or survival benefit, or someone in the household receives a federal Pell Grant, then they can also qualify through those other ways, as well as through their income. So this is the federal poverty guidelines, and this program is you can qualify if you're at or below 200% of the federal poverty guidelines. So these are just some examples if someone needs to provide documentation for those other programs. And we review these in detail, since it most likely won't really apply to you all that much. So the program allows for 1 monthly service discount and 1 connected device. And so you can definitely have more than 1 household living in a single address. So if they live together and share money, they are 1 household. If they either don't live together or don't share money, they're 2 or more households. So, you know, there are so many families who are doubling up these days as people continue to recover from the pandemic and, you know, go through other sorts of challenges. So, you know, it could be that for whatever reason, you know, someone may not want to share their internet service. Maybe someone is couch surfing and, you know, requires a hotspot or something like that. So there are these situations, as well as, you know, I have a tenant who lives in my basement, and she has the same address as I do, but we most definitely are not the same household. So if she would have wanted to get service at my address, for instance, she and I would have had to figure out this this process. So there's a worksheet, and it's something that you may encounter in the application process if you are a person who is applying at an address that's already known to the program. So just some things to note. As I mentioned, the ACP does not take into account one's immigration status. So people who are not citizens are able to participate in this program, and it will not jeopardize anyone's ability to obtain a green card under the public charge test, because the money goes directly from the federal government to the ISP and not to the applicant. So for what's relevant to you all as a school district is the fact that, you know, if a person is undocumented and wants to qualify for this program, and their child participates in the free and reduced price lunch through a CEP school, you know, they can qualify that way, or if they're receiving WIC, or if there is a child or dependent in the house that is receiving a federal Pell Grant. So Education Superhighway provided a couple more links to additional information for people who are concerned about whether or not participating in this program would fall under the public charge test. I know, unfortunately, we do have families and students who are unhoused, and so there is a way for them to apply even if they don't have a permanent address. So they can enter 123 homeless, and then there's going to be some additional steps there to prove their address. And then they can choose to find a plan that supports mobile internet instead of you know, a wired service like Spectrum, Google Fiber, AT&T, that sort of thing. And just one last thing to keep in mind, the application process is just the first step, and they have to let their provider know that they have the benefit to get it applied to their account. So, you know, just if in the event that your family serving staff are helping people get through this process, and we can have an actual dedicated training for that as well, if you'd like. That wasn't my intent today. I didn't want to get too far in the weeds, but just give you this overview. So they can contact their provider, and then there's an ID that they give them, and then the provider will put that discount into into their account. If for some reason they have a provider that's not participating, they're going to have to switch providers in order to get the discount. And if they don't have service, they can find a company that serves their address at this find a company search that's on the website where they at getinternet.gov. And just a final note, the ISPs can't run a credit check for their internet service only, but they can if they are asking for other services like voice or TV. So that's a great thing. As well as if they owe money, if they get approved for ACP, they cannot turn them away for services. So we've set up a portal that you can access to get these materials that are listed here. It's all free, and we'll work with you to get those materials to you. You can use these social media images and other materials there to help get the word out to your families. And then should you have any questions, you can contact me or Leah Henriksen, who's on the call, to help get those materials and answer any other questions. And I will point out that, you know, should you decide to go ahead and integrate this into the services you're providing your families, there are some questions that we're not able to answer. So, you know, anything about the status of an application, you know, if there's a rejected document for whatever reason, anything about companies in their area, we can help with that, but they can help with that too. Assistance with that household worksheet, and then if they need to reset or delete their account, they can help with that, and there's the email and phone number for them. So with that, I will stop sharing and answer any questions you have.
I have a few questions. I don't know if this is hard, if your 30 minutes was a hard stop or what. So
it's not for us, especially since we started a little late due to our own technical confusion.
Right. Internally, Edwin and I can have conversations also about how we might be able to continue to support this. Of course, we have newsletters and things that we could always roll out promotion so that people are aware of it, and providing links so people can then take the next step. This is the kind of thing that requires others to take action. We are just promoting it through our space and through our newsletters. But we do have we just recently put together a resources and services webpage, which is a one-stop shop kind of page for our audience to be able to tap into district resources and services, as well as partner services. And I don't recall we having added anything related to this. So this is a good opportunity for us to add this to that as a community link, either to KC Digital, to your organization, or to whatever direct links people can access the actual application and process for joining the program. We have a welcome center here that recently launched, and this would be good, I think, as part of the packet that our welcome center, our staff are able to share with families. If not just to share, but maybe take it a little deeper and say, this is why this would be important for your family. So I don't know, those are the kinds of things we'd have to negotiate with those who run the welcome center, because they obviously have a lot of information to pass out and to share with people, and the time is limited. But these are things that we can talk about internally. And then I'm most interested in, because I developed the annual report for the district, is actually tapping into some of our district departments that are already sharing this information, and ask them if they have success stories related to how people have accessed this, how their life has improved, if somebody has gotten a job as a result of it. Those kinds of things are the things that are going to make somebody else want to join. They see themselves in other people. They see other people's actions as something they can then emulate. So that might be a way for us to also share. So I put that out there because I'm putting together the annual report right now for the 22-23 school year. And I'm running out of room for content, but we can always sort of even just do a digital suggestion to go to look into this, because this is something that betters the community, it betters our educational process, and so forth and so on. So I hope to be able to work with some of you and some of our department leaders here to maybe identify some success stories, which is what the annual report is driven by. It's just the stories that are really good to share with the community. And then the last thing, I promise, as I started thinking about not just the ins and outs of applying and going through all the credit checks and, checking the boxes for the things you need to do, are there any, maybe you already have this in your portal or in your organization's website, but are there any value added training for those who are seeking these services about the appropriate use of internet and social media, so that once they have it, it's not just a nice tool to have. Hey, I got an extra phone paid for, so rah, my budget is I can go spend $35 now a month on something else. But how do we parlay this into additional training, such as financial planning, advocacy, looking into current events, resume preparation, job searches, homework help. So those are just ideas for how to take this wonderful initiative, go beyond the acquisition of the service, and then making it work for you. So that's what I have as we met this morning.
Yeah, no, that's great, Francisco. So I should mention one thing, which is once this funding is gone, there's currently a proposal from President Biden to renew it at an amount of $6 billion. And so Congress has not acted on this yet. And they think it might run out somewhere around maybe April or May. So hopefully we get you all through the school year. But those success stories, are something that NDIA, the National Digital Inclusion Alliance, is currently working on gathering at the moment. And so that would be really great to have those as well to share with them. As far as how to use the internet safely and take advantage of it, I think all those ideas are great, and it would be wonderful to maybe set up a separate time to talk about. We have a digital skills provider or a digital skills trainer that is doing some of those kinds of classes. And, it might be interesting just to explore that again separately, so that we can, just brainstorm what might be useful for your households that you serve. And I think, one thing of particular note, and I think you all are doing this, is your parent portal training. So, we might be able to just combine with one of those workshops, or make it some sort of series that builds on that workshop that you already provide.
That's great. I'm new, so parent portal training is new to me, my ears. So, but it would be something that Edwin can explain, or I can look into deeper at another time.
Sounds great. Judy, I'm so glad you were able to join us, and I apologize for all the confusion. Did you have any questions?
Well, I missed the first 10 minutes due to technical difficulties, so I can go back and hopefully, if you're able to send the recording, just watch it from the beginning.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Absolutely. So I'll get that out. I'll get the PowerPoint over to you all. And then you know, we can definitely talk more about you know, the resources we have. We're going to be printing bookmarks, and so you know, that might be something that is useful to you all as a school district. So we will be getting those printed soon, and you know, all you'll need to do is go to that parent portal on the brain, and go to that marketing portal, and be able to get those ordered, and then we'll get them out to you. It'll be a little bit easier, Francisco, to deliver them to you. But Judy, remind me where you are.
so I work for Heston USD 460. So I'm located in the small town of Heston, halfway between Wichita and Salina on the I-135 corridor. So I don't know where everybody else is from, but that's where I'm currently located.
Yeah, we've got Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools here with us as well today, and then the rest of us are staff. So,
Okay.
all
I do
right.
have
Well,
one more. I did have
yeah,
one more
go ahead.
question. When you brought up the form, I wrote down Spanish language or other languages. Is that available?
Yeah, so all our materials are available in Spanish and English, and the flyers are double-sided, so it's Spanish on one side and English on the other. And then we have the everything else is available in Spanish. I know that we have plenty of other languages that are spoken in the district as well. So I don't know, Judy, do you have other languages in your district that are spoken in Heston? Oh, you're on mute.
We have a fairly small census of children with other languages, but since we have AGCO located in our community, we have children in our schools from India, the Netherlands, and then we have some Hispanic individuals here also. We have found that most have already come with some English language abilities. There are just a very few whose parents or grandparents maybe do not have a good grasp of the English language. So we actually have scaled way back on providing things in Spanish because there just hasn't been a demand for it. So we have been saving a few more trees lately by not making, you know, hundreds of copies in that language. But I'm sure that the city schools, Wichita, Kansas City, and other large metropolitan areas have probably between 10 and 20 or more different languages spoken. So it certainly is much more of a challenge for them to meet the needs of the diverse population that they serve. So I hope this can be of assistance to those families.
So
What are we looking at in KCK?
so we have nearly 70 different languages spoken. In the top 4, of course, English, Spanish, Burmese, and then Swahili. So if there were some ways that we can get materials, you know, at least for those top 4, that would be, I mean, for the Spanish, Burmese, and Swahili, that would be great.
Yeah, we'll work on that. Thank you for that.
I do have a question for Edwin then, because we are familiar with some Swahili individuals living in Wichita. Do you have some parents or resources in your community that could assist you in translating some things? In the past, we actually had a parent here when we did have a high census in Spanish who would come in and help us with, you know, district items. And she was a great resource in helping with that.
Yeah, so we have members of the faith-based community that will help us disseminate that information, because you can print it, right? But you still got to get it into the hands of the parents in the community who could benefit from that information. So,
Exactly.
we're able to translate a lot of things and some things, but with a school district our size, it can be very cumbersome, with staff and when they have to be present in person to help translate things. So it's a lot. And so the better, oftentimes when we can get things from the outside that are shared, if they come translated, it's a lot easier on us than having to translate large copies of things. So, but we're doing the best we can too as well. So yes, it is challenging, but we just keep pushing forward to make sure that we are communicating on all levels as much as possible.
Right. And as I mentioned earlier, if you have staff who you think are going to be helping families get signed up for this program, we can do a separate training with them. It's a deeper dive into the details of the program, as well as there is a training that Education Superhighway provides, and I will drop that link in the chat and also include it in our follow-up, because it's really a very comprehensive training that you can do on demand, and you can start it and pause it and pick it back up. So if somebody has 5 minutes, 10 minutes here to get through the training, at the end of it, there's the certificate. So we recommend that people go through that training first, and then we just do kind of a reminder training that hits the main points and reinforces that Education Superhighway online training that they completed.
So speaking of that, I would love to share this with Jacqueline Rodriguez. She's the director over our multilingual education and services department.
Sounds great. Yeah. And so, we can do that training in person or online. So, that's a resource we offer as well. Any other final thoughts?
You said you were going to send the link on the chat before we close. Oh, maybe it's there. It's just covered up with something. There we go. Yeah, it was covered up with something else. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I wanted to make sure. I was able to click on it.
Yeah.
And then my last question is: I know this is funding provided by the U.S. government, but it's going to run out, like you said. Where are you now in terms of where your funding is for how much more volume you can take in?
Yeah, I mean, they as I mentioned, they anticipate that this will kind of at the current increased take rate, they're projecting that it will last probably through April or May.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's that $14.2 billion pot that is being pulled from. And so it's a little hard to predict exactly, but that's where we are thinking it's going to be. And so there are efforts now to encourage Congress to renew it in some way, and there's some different strategies that are happening there. But I can also send a link if you're interested to a toolkit that NDIA has put together for ACP advocacy. And you can use that to educate your elected officials who serve your district. And, even if you're not doing what might be considered formal advocacy, it can help you, communicate why you think it might be important to renew it.
Yeah, I would love to receive that, because part of my role is advocacy and working with our legislators in Topeka and make sure they understand what our needs are. So that would be good.
Yeah, and so this would be at the federal level.
Yeah, Okay.
And so that's where we need to communicate that need out to those folks to see if we can't get this, renewed. So I'll follow up with that too.
Thank you.
So Leslie, question on that, because again, I missed the first 10 minutes. So this ACP program, are you saying that families might sign up and then next May it'll be gone? The discount will be gone?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. So that might be good information to share with them just so that they have a heads up.
Good
Yes.
idea. Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it makes it a little bit harder for people, to invest the time to apply if they're like, well, it's just going to end in a few months. But, one of our staff, our digital skills trainer, Carol Myers, said, if you saw three $10 bills lying on the floor, would you just walk on by? And I said, no, I'd pick them up and tell everybody
Right.
for weeks that I found $30 on the floor, right? So it is only $30, but for many people, it's an important $30. And there are plans that some providers are offering that make it free with ACP. And so, to be able to have that internet service, I'm sure probably in Heston, internet is a little bit more expensive because it just tends to be that way in smaller towns and in rural America. But at least here, we do have some plans that are $30 or less, and having free internet at home is a really important resource. All right. Well, any final thoughts? Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here.
This was very interesting. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
was on this Zoom call.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll get this out to you all, and then we'll probably just follow up with in case you have any peer districts you communicate with on a regular basis. We'll just send it out to the list of superintendents that we have gathered, just so you all have it, and then we'll get all this information out, and hopefully you can help your families save on some internet.
Yes.
All
It was
right.
nice meeting you all. You have a good week.
Absolutely. Have a great weekend.
And looking forward to talking to you, Leslie.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.